Tesla has been the first hit to people of the EV experience.
Right.
And it's a unique experience for sure. They've done several things special which other companies had not done at that point in time. One of which I think is the performance aspect, which made EVs feel premium.
Yep.
They made EVs also usable with the range that they offered, and the logic and that they applied for that is special. I think there is something interesting happening there. But because of that hype, for people it's like, I want a Tesla.
Right.
Even if another EV offers me that experience, that's fine, but I have to have a Tesla at some point in time. And that was the first time that I drove the Tesla, and that is why I drove the Model Y. And I think that is something that today, when we have Tesla in India, and you look at Tesla, and this is the next part of this conversation, is Tesla premium? Right? This is a question that you must also address as a buyer, if you're a Tesla buyer, or even if you're just interested in Teslas. Because globally, a Tesla, let's say the Model Y, will be comparable with a Kia EV6. And in terms of pricing, in several places, it could end up being lower as well, right? So it is a mass market car in that sense. If you think about it, it's been in 23 or 24, it was the world's top selling car, not EV. It was the top selling car, which means it outdid a Corolla or a Toyota something. You're talking about that level mass. It's not mass premium, it's mass. Right? So I think that's the context that we have to keep in mind. But in India, of course, we're looking at it as a more premium product.
Just for my reference, what's the price difference from a Model Y to the EV6?
Excellent. So today in India, we have the lower two models of the Y, which are the rear-wheel drive only. The EV6 is available with the all-wheel drive, and that's the price that I have, and that's about 67 lakhs. And that is the price for the top Tesla that we have, the Model Y, rear-wheel drive, long range.
Got it.
Right? So they're similarly priced that way. So if you think about it, the Tesla is at a slight premium to the Model Y.
You get a little less for your money, as it were.
In terms of
hardware.
The hardware. Yeah. And okay, since we are here, Tesla does the Apple thing, right? Which is to say that you don't need to know the specs, right? You just have to think about what I'm offering you, and which is to say that the performance is this, the range is this, and that's it, right? So the battery pack, how much power the motor has, torque has, like what Harley used to do, right? So it's like that with Tesla. Tesla doesn't give you power. It doesn't give you torque figures. It doesn't give you battery capacity, chemistry. All of that is off the table.
It's unknown.
It's unknown.
Okay.
It's unknown in the sense that, of course, you can go turn to the internet and look for information, which we also did. But the interesting thing is that you can get different numbers.
Yeah. In the Harley Davidson's case, we used to make up the horsepower numbers. We would say, oh, you're not going to tell us how much horsepower? Okay, let's assume that this is a 32 bhp, 1200 cc twin. 32? It's not 32. You opened that door.
Correct. So you can make up any number you want for this as well. But the point is there's a slight difference between the standard range and the long range. And that
you drove which one today?
We drove the long range.
Long range. Okay.
Right? So the long range has a bigger battery pack, obviously. It also has a more powerful rear motor. Okay. The difference is only expressed in terms of the 0 to 100 times. The standard version is 5.9 seconds and this is 5.6. Usually we don't refer to 0 to 100 times that much because that's really not a measure of anything usable or relatable to other things in that sense. But here we have to because there's nothing else. For a sense of things, the range in which we've seen the performance figures lie for the standard version is between 260 to 300 horsepower. And between 300 and 350 for the long range with the more powerful this thing. So again, if you think about what we are getting as EVs today, hardware that we get in India, like the Mahindras, right? Near 300 horsepower there as well, right? For the top spec with 75 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Correct.
So massive, which is by estimates roughly what we're talking about for this
long range version.
Range version as well. And the standard range is supposed to be around 60 something. The thing about this entire conversation, because of these details, will be like some of the things are harder to put your finger on and say that this is what it is, because that's when you'll want the product for longer and be able to say, no, it actually does this. I don't have to estimate what it is, because if I'm guessing what the size of the battery is, I can't really extrapolate.
Makes
Right?
sense. What is the claimed range on both of these? Just so we close this
Correct.
off.
So the long range is supposed to be around 600 and something.
Okay.
We'll put that up. And the standard is around 550. And Tesla themselves say that you can expect in the real world 450 kilometers from the standard and 550 from the long range.
Okay.
Okay. So that's that. We'll talk about what happened when we drove it and stuff like that. So first, back to the idea of the car. So today, if you look at it, why was I not, let's say, super excited about, experiencing a Tesla? Because we know that we've driven so many EVs in the last 4 years. And we know that EVs are EVs. There's a certain experience that's similar to them in terms of that quietness and smoothness, which was unique for people when they first drove EVs. We've experienced this. We've seen cars with massive battery packs. We've seen cars, Indian-made cars with massive performance,
Right.
For 25 lakhs or something like that, right? 30 lakhs. So you've seen the world change dramatically.
Yeah, and don't think of what he's saying as we are feeling jaded, more in the sense of we've been through this cycle. If you've never bought an electric before, you're going to have this experience. And more or less, whichever EV you buy, there will obviously be variations in feeling. But the silence, the lack of vibration, etc., they do make the experience special the first time. And it is going to happen at more or less the same level to all the EVs that you drive for the first time.
Correct. And that's a great point, because whichever is your first is always a little bit special, right? Yeah. So whenever you experience your first EV, whether it's a Tata, Mahindra, Tesla, whatever it may be, you'll say, wow, this is really futuristic and special. It's going to happen. And then you experience another EV of another brand, and then you'll say, oh, this is also the same.
Correct.
Right? So it'll be, of course, in the details that things will be different. So that was one part of it. Part of the context setting of where Tesla, Model Y, and fits into our ecosystem. So with where Model Y fits, where it could be, with that out of the way, I think the last point I want to make here is that even I made the mistake of thinking, oh, Tesla's come, it's at 60 lakhs, etc. So it's expensive for this Model Y. And then I realized that it's not too far away from where the EV6 is,
for example,
right?
is sitting. Oh.
And as I drove the car, I realized that for somebody who wants a slightly differentiated experience, this is still going to be worth it.
That is a clip from MotorInc. And what that means is if you'd like to see more of these, you can do two things. One is stay on this channel, subscribe and watch more, or you can come to the main MotorInc channel where you'll find a much longer video that discusses this idea in a lot more detail.